Howdy! For 50 days, Ryan Trahan and his wife Haley are going to all of the 50 states to raise money for St. Jude, and for each state that they go to, I am reading or featuring a book that takes place in that state. And today is day 22. We're almost halfway. I'm especially happy about this day for two reasons. First one being that Ryan and Haley went to Virginia. And I've got quite a few things to say about Virginia in the book world and stuff. The second reason, because day 22, I love twos. If you've been around here for a while, I'm sure that you know birthday 2/22/2000. Along with a whole lot of other twos, like there's just a lot of twos. Turned 22 in 2022 on a Tuesday. There's more twos than that. Anyway, point is, I like 22s. I was surprised when I was looking at all the books that I have and kind of quickly scrolling on Goodreads for the books I don't own but have read. I only came up with 3 books that take place in Virginia that I have already read. To be fair, I have quite a few more that take place in Virginia. I just haven't read them yet. And I'll just say really quick, all 3 of them have George Washington in them to some capacity. George Washington is my favorite president, and we have the same birthday. And if you've also been watching my videos so far, you probably know that I am a big Magic Treehouse fan. And book 22 of Magic Treehouse is about the Revolutionary War. So it has George Washington in it. Unfortunately, it does not take place in Virginia. It has to do with the crossing of the Delaware, so no Virginia in this one, which is such a bummer. Like, could you imagine if this could be on the stack with it for Virginia? Oh, that would have been fabulous. Alas, it is not, so I shall put it away. About the books. Seeing them in this stack and thinking about when I read them, I actually realized I have read them like 3 years in a row. So I read The Spiritual Journey of George Washington in 2022. I read When the Day Comes by Gabriel Meyer in 2023. And I read Martha Washington by Patricia Brady in 2024. Which now makes me wonder what George Washington related book I might be reading this year. I did read the I Survived the Revolutionary War book, but George Washington wasn't in that a whole lot, so I think I'll just have to read a different book. I was going to ask this towards the end, but since we're on the topic, I thought that I would just ask it now. If you guys have any favorite books set in the Revolutionary War period of history, do let me know in the comments down below. I would love to check them out. The book I am picking, I will talk about last, because I have a lot to say. First book I'll talk about is Martha Washington by Patricia Brady. This is a biography, nonfiction book all about Martha Washington, the first lady and George Washington's wife, all about her life. This was such an interesting read, and I loved that we got to learn so much about not only Martha, but also George. If you like history or George Washington, the Revolutionary War period, you would love this. Also, lots of Alexander Hamilton stuff in here, and if I remember right, this was written or came out before the Hamilton musical did, and I was super impressed with how accurate what I remember of the musical was to what I learned in here with all that in mind. So that was really cool. The Spiritual Journey of George Washington by Janice T. Connell. What it's about is right there in the title. It's about his spiritual journey, or maybe another way to put it is it's about his faith, his relationship with God, how that impacted his life and all that he did. There are some really cool stories in here. Very, very good read. Again, if the other book interests you, if George Washington or the Revolutionary War history interests you, highly recommend. Now the book that I picked for Virginia, When the Day Comes by Gabriel Meyer. We're fitting to be here all day. No, I'll just talk for like 3 hours. I'll try not to go on and on and on about this book. I will try. Where to start other than this is my favorite book series that I have ever read so far. It'd be really, really hard to top this one though. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's a time travel romance. Basically, this being book 1 is about Libby. This is a picture of Libby. She is a time crosser, which basically means that she is living in 2 different time periods at the same time. She wakes up in one and goes to sleep and then wakes up in the other one. So for Libby specifically, she lives in 1774 colonial Williamsburg, Virginia, and 1914 New York. How much does the back cover tell you guys? Yeah, not a whole lot. A lot happens in this book. So basically, when she turns 21, she has to decide which time period, which life she's going to keep and lose the other one. Because one of her lives is in colonial Virginia, 1774, we do get to see a lot of the Revolutionary War stuff kind of going on in the background, which is really fun. Her 1914 life doesn't happen in Virginia, keeping things vague. So this could actually also count for New York, but I have plans for New York. I have books that I could choose for New York and one in particular that I'm leaning towards choosing. So we're sticking this one in the Virginia slot. And what's also cool is that book 2, I am spoiler. Okay, it's not like a spoiler for the book, but it's like spoiler for the challenge ahead. Book 2, I'm going to most likely pick for Maryland, and then book 3, I really wanted to pick for Massachusetts, and I thought if Ryan and Haley did Virginia, Maryland, and then Massachusetts 3 in a row, I would totally do all timeless because that would be super cool. But then I looked at the map earlier, and it would take about 5 hours to go from Maryland to Massachusetts, and in a couple videos ago, I believe, Ryan said specifically that in this next week or so, they would only have at most a 3-hour drive. 1 to 3 hour drive, and so 5 hours is not in it. Plus I do have other Massachusetts books I can pick from, so I probably won't put number 3 for Massachusetts, which is a bummer because that one's my favorite in here. It's actually 5 books in this series, with the 6th one coming out in November. It's so exciting. You guys have no idea. Book 6 is going to be about another character that's in book 1. So excited. I'm also kind of matching my outfit with the book. I don't know if you have noticed. One side Libby is pink, so pink, and the other side she's got green going on, so green. I've also drawn art for this book. I will only show one picture though because the other one is really, really spoilery. So just one picture for you guys. I cannot recommend this enough. If you don't like time travel, do give this a shot. I've seen a lot of people on Instagram and on Goodreads who have reviewed this book say that even the people who don't like time travel love this book. What's wild is that it can count as time travel, but it kind of leans more towards historical romance, historical fiction. So if you're not usually into time travel, you'll be okay with this. I've heard it from a lot of other people who don't like time travel. But if you do like time travel, like me, you will also love this book. I'm gonna tell you right now. I thought that I was just gonna go on and on and on, which I can, but keeping it spoiler free is really helping keep down the time. Next up, I will talk about the rating for this book. Ryan and Haley have been ranking all the Airbnbs that they have been staying at all the 50 states, so I have been ranking all the books that I'm reading in these 50 states. I have it in 4 categories and then an overall category. We've got adult nonfiction, adult fiction, youth nonfiction. This of course falls under adult fiction, and this is like the easiest ranking so far. This is number 1 in all categories. That's just what this is. Number 1 in adult fiction and number 1 overall. I don't even need to look. This is number 1 overall. Easy decision. Easy. That is my ranking at the moment, but I have a link down below that you guys can vote on all of the 50 state books that I have chosen so far, and you guys can pick what your favorite is. That link is down there if you're interested. I didn't mention how I even discovered this book, so I will tell you guys about that. This was another Faith and Fables book club pick. I think I had actually seen it on Goodreads or some of my Bookstagram friends before. I think I saw them post about it before and marked it as one to read. But when Faith and Fables had it for their book pick, I think in February 2023, which is also cool. Y'all, I think I finished this book on my birthday, so 2/22, I finished the Day 22 Virginia book. We're just throwing in more twos. So when Faith and Fables picked this for their book club pick in February, I was like, now is the time where we're gonna read it. It sounds so interesting. And yeah, been hooked ever since. Favorite character in this book, I'm gonna have to go with Libby, I believe. Or her mama, her 1700s mama. Oh, I really hope that Gabriel Meyer writes a book for Libby's mom. I've heard in some interviews and stuff from Gabriel Meyer that she isn't too wild about writing a whole book for Libby's mom, because you do find out a lot about her in this book. I think her name was Theodosia. But I just think it would be so cool to have a whole book about Libby's mom, and I hope that Gabriel Meyer will make it someday. Even if it's just a novella, I'll take it. It is time for the reading strategy. Virginia, done. I'm hoping they go to Maryland tomorrow so I can talk about book 2. But they could go to Delaware. My sketching on this side of the map is not quite as accurate as the other side. The other side isn't very accurate either. So they could go to Maryland. They could go to Delaware. If they go to Delaware, I have a kids' time travel book that I'll need to binge. If they go to Pennsylvania, I still have about 100 pages at least left on the book that I'm reading for that one. If they go to Jersey, I'm set. I finished that book a couple days ago, I believe, so we're good. Although I was telling my mom and Hallie earlier that I find it funny that Ryan said that this coming week for them is their easy week, and that this week feels like the danger week for me, because it's either they're gonna land on a state that I've already read, or they're gonna land on a state that I need to binge read 150 pages in one day. There's not much in between. And Maine is up there, so I feel like I still have a buffer, especially now that I know it takes 5 hours to get from Maryland to Massachusetts, so it'll take longer for them to get to Maine. It's not like they're skipping to Maine tomorrow. Oh my word, if they did that, that would be insane. But knowing that I have at least a few more days of safety for Maine, I did start up a new book for that I got at the thrift store, and I am loving it. The amnesia trope, the romance, oh, yes. The answer is yes. I am looking forward to that hopefully working out. And I think that's it for the reading strategy. That is all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment down below if you're watching Ryan's series and what your favorite Airbnb is so far. Don't forget to let me know what you're currently reading. I would love to talk book stuff in the comments. And I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Ciao!